The first week of November is arguably the most anticipated week of the hunting season for hunters across the board, especially for passionate archery hunters like ourselves. So we anticipate this week all year long. From the moment it ends, we start prepping and anticipating, getting excited for next year. So for this week, we're in the woods literally 20 minutes, half hour tops. 25 of it is in the dark. 5 minutes of daylight, shootable light, and oh my gosh, a deer. Here comes a doe, and followed by the doe is not only a buck, but a good buck. Okay. Looking back, we had very little time, if any, to even simulate what was going to happen or what we wanted to happen. Well, immediately my heart fell. We practice and shoot and shoot and shoot for weeks, months, year-round to anticipate that one moment when you get the chance at a decent deer.
Season waiting for my trip, our trip, Western New York to hunt the hill. My nephew Diener is the cameraman. We're in the stand, what we call Grandpa's stand. It's a buddy stand. 5 minutes of shooting light. 5 minutes and a doe comes out with a shooter following.
So day one of our hunt immediately changes from anticipating an all-day 9 or 10 hour dark to dark sit. We're now out of the woods within a couple hours. We finish our morning hunt. It's now hunt mode in a different manner. Come back to the lake house, put the footage on the TV, and start evaluating what do we do next. Just before impact, the buck drops down and he turns hard quartering away, and that arrow penetrates his hind quarter and it runs up into his chest cavity. And without the camera footage and the lighted knock, I would have not had the confidence that we were going to recover this deer. What the arrow and the equipment actually did gave me a glimmer of hope that this deer was not going to be far. We let this deer go for 9 hours. It was 40-30 that afternoon. We went back to start tracking. It had rained all day, so we pretty much knew there was no chance of a blood trail. Put Dean back up in the tree. We looked at the footage, got an idea of where we last saw him, and we actually did not see the deer. We saw my lighted knock. So Dean ID'd where I was supposed to stand, where we last saw him. Followed down to the creek bed. I decided on my own that I was going to backtrack just a little based on where this deer came from, thinking he may have come from his bed. Come around the corner from the creek, And as I start walking my way through the tall grass, I can see gray in the brush on the ground. And that grayness that any and all deer hunters anticipate as you're walking through the woods was a sign of a dead deer. You know, and your first thoughts immediately like, is it mine? Is it mine? It's mine? It's mine. And then at that moment, I can see antlers, I feel it. And all of that happened within 20 minutes, if that, of the time that we started tracking.
Dude. Baby.
Well, you're looking at one happy hunter. November 2nd. Plan all season, from season to season, to come up here in western New York, Chautauqua County. Preparation, trail cam pics, shooting. Hoping for that opportunity. It's been since 2008, the last buck I shot off this land. And I did not make a pretty shot this morning. And my heart's been thumping in my chest for 9.5 hours. Deaner behind the camera. Ram cat made significant difference. Significant. We ain't shooting them. Shooting the wrong broadhead. And a lighted knock, man, and footage. Started filming, and it tells the story. It told us what to do on this deer. We backed out, we looked, we re-looked, we analyzed, years of experience. And where'd he go?
80, 100 yards?
100 yards maybe?
Yeah.
You know, when in doubt, they seem to turn and head back to their bedding area. Keep an eye on that. I mean, 5 after 7, barely get set up, Deaner behind the camera, and you know, it's the start of our trip, hoping it happens, hoping it happens at some point during the week. We wait, when is that chance going to happen? 5 minutes, he's barely shooting light. The doe comes out, and he's locked on her. See the bleed? He didn't stop, we looked in the footage, and his ears go back, he definitely saw the bleed. I mean, definitely heard the bleed, didn't acknowledge it, and I just, before he left my lane, I let it fly at 39 yards, and I ducked on a quartering way, and I caught him on the front of his right ham, and that arrow went up in him, come out on the side, took liver, and shoot 9 hours later. Very proud of this one, and I'm thankful.
So a few things that I looking back that really were key features in this hunt was the equipment, and there were truly 4 of them that helped us execute a successful hunt in locating and recovering this deer. The Bloodsport arrows and the kinetic energy that these arrows drove through this deer, tipped with a ram cat. I know there's a lot of broadheads on the market. The depth that this arrow traveled through the deer and up through the chest cavity, having started through his right hind quarter, there's a number of broadheads on the market that probably would not have made it that far. The lighted knock was key because it allowed us to identify the angle of the arrow's penetration. Last key feature to the hunt was having the documentation or having the hunt recorded. To be able to review the footage and review what happened allowed us to back off on the perspective that it was just not a good shot, but the actual equipment, the arrow and the broadhead did what it was supposed to do. The deer ducked down and turned hard away when that arrow hit him, and it allowed us to watch over and again to identify exactly what that arrow did so that we can make the proper evaluation of what to do, how long to wait, and then when to go back after this deer to try and recover it.
Thank you for watching this week's episode. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We hope you enjoyed this week's show, and we'll see you right here next week on TAGNBRAG TV.
I want to take this deer home. I don't want to wait 9 hours, okay?
Call it a positive outcome in a harvest deer and a down deer and a dead deer and a oh deer and a cut.